Hi everyone, today I want to share a card I made for a swap. I was cleaning my desk and saw that I still had some parts left over and I thought I would make a video. It's using the Flowering Tulips stamp set and tulip dies. Now these are in the spring mini catalog. I'm happy to say they're also going to be in the next annual catalog. It's a really nice stamp set and I really think the sentiments are great. There's birthday, Mother's Day, and just general. So it's a great stamp set to have in your collection. I like this circular stamp. Thank you, and that's what I'm going to be using today. And here is the card. So I want to talk to you about the dies. They're kind of different, and they fold to give the flower some dimension. And here are the dies. When I was cutting for my swaps and for a class, I cut a whole bunch of petals. And anyway, so I have lots, so it'll be a easy video. But here are the dies, and you'll see, you might think, what in the world is that? You know, it looks like a dog with ears maybe or something, I don't know. But actually it folds and creates a dimensional flower. So the petals have, you know, shadow behind them, and you can get a lot of nice depth with that. So there's lots of layering pieces. These three all fold, and they have a score line, so it's easy for you to know where to fold. And there's also some other decorative pieces, and then dies that cut out the actual stamped images as well. Now this card's not going to use any of those. We're going to make the petals with designer series paper. So the paper I'm using is also in the spring mini. This will not be in the annual catalog, so if you love those tulips and you're thinking about getting them, you might want to grab the paper now, because this will not be in the next annual catalog. And it's really nice. There's these beautiful, look at this one, painted tulips. Really great, and then just really nice backgrounds. Here's some purple tulips. And I've used this paper quite a bit. I really like the designs. This is a really nice one. I love that field of differing colors of tulips. This one is great. The polka dots. I love this one. I haven't been able to cut this one so much. And this angled field of tulips. It's just really beautiful, and I will cut it. I will make myself, but it is hard sometimes to cut into that paper for the first. I like both sides of that one. This one, I thought, look at these clouds, and this kind of inspired a card I made with the waves of the ocean. I was using these colors for my clouds. It's just based on this paper. So pretty. There's that red. I think I showed it all. Oh, here's another sky. Really nice papers. I think that's all that I have left of the papers. Okay, so we're going to use a little bit of green. And then I cut out, if you notice, that paper had kind of a watercolor look to it. So I cut out my tulips in designer series paper because I really liked the look of the, here's the one I'm talking about. See how it's kind of got darks and lights? And I thought that would be really pretty on a tulip flower to have those darks and lights. Okay, so I'm going to grab all the foldy ones. So I want that one. And that one. There's three different foldy ones. Let me see if I can find the other one. Oh, I got that one. Maybe I didn't get them all. I might have used them up. Alright, so we're going to have to cut one petal. That's okay. Alright, so I'm going to put those aside. And then I wanted the same watercolor look on my leaves. So I cut, this one is actually from a different paper pack. It's that Nature's Beauty, and it's got a green because I didn't want the lines on this, but they go together so nicely, so that's why I'm using this as my background. Now if you don't have a watercolor paper, you can actually make your own, kind of use some paper that holds up to watercolor, like the shimmering white or watercolor paper itself, and just make your own paper and cut out your shapes, and you'll get these really pretty tones, the darks and lights and things in your flowers. Alright, so I'm going to use these. I need 2 stems and a few leaves. Okay. Now I'm using, this is Highland Heather, and then this one is Blackberry Bliss. And I didn't get a clean cut on this one, so I'm going to cut it again. It looks like it angled a little bit. So let's cut a little bit off of that. right, so my white piece was 2 1/4, so this is 2 1/2, and it just got a little bit wonky somehow, so I'm going to trim off that one side. There we go. So I've got 2 1/2, and it's by 4 1/2, so this is 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then this is 2 by 4 1/4. And I wanted to give a little background stamp, so I'm going to use these cute little X's. See that? And I'm just going to stamp some X's, just kind of randomly turning it. I like when they go off the page a little bit too, so I'm going to go all the way up to the edge. I think that's good. And we're going to go ahead and attach our green band, and that just goes slightly below center. Okay. These two can get layered together. I like to get rid of all my little pieces that can go right down, so then they're not taking up my desk. Some people point out my glue cap just about every time I use it, so I have a video for that you can look for. Like, why is her cap like that? There's a video on that. Okay, so that's going to go down, and I'm going to go ahead and just stick it down because I like I said, I like to get rid of pieces that are sitting on my desk, and that way I have less pieces floating around. As you see, I use up all the way to the corner on these little dimensionals. Why waste the edges, right? I'm always amazed by how many people throw them away. Do you throw yours away, or do you use all these little these little bits and pieces? Okay, that's just going to go right down. And then I will set that aside. And let's make these cute little guys. So, as I was saying, they fold, and when you cut them, the score lines are there, and they fold in half. Now normally you would be using maybe a cardstock, so see how mine is double-sided designer series paper, so you see that. So what I did is I took some of the other dies, see these here, these ones that are not foldables, and I cut those out as well. And that way you've got a little piece that you can slip in there, and it covers up that designer series paper, and it gives you yet another tone of purples. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one. There are 3 different foldable ones, but apparently I missed the little bud one. But these are already cut out, so in the interest of saving some time, I'm going to use that one again. And then you could even layer another one, so I'm going to layer one of the larger ones, that's this one. But then I can take a little one, so here's this one, and I can add another petal, and then I've got even more petals in here. You could do it behind. See how you want to layer your little pieces. And then this one, he needs something too, and then there's, see, this one has a cut in the middle, that's this one, and that'll give you some interest as well, so then you can layer 2 or 3 there like that, and then you've just got all these different tones of purple going on. It just looks so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to glue those down. I like that one how it was, so I'm going to layer it just how I had it with the 3. And I don't even put a lot of glue because I like that, you know, like maybe this one's sticking up slightly because I didn't get it super flat, you know, because that way you've got those shadows kind of add to the dimension of your piece. Sometimes they need a little help staying down. Whoa. you can decide, does this one go in? Does that one go in? I think on this one, I put the little one on the inside, so this time I'm going to put it on the outside, just so they have a little difference. And see how I just love that paper, how it has those different tones in it. That's got a little bit of purple, Highland Heather, and a little bit of that rich raspberry showing through. Okay, so I'm going to leave those like that, and then we're going to go ahead and glue these stems down. Okay, and I want one more because I wanted to put 3 tulips on here, so I might have to cut a piece after all. Let's cut another one of those. So this paper is retiring at the end of this month. The spring mini goes until the end of June, so you've got a little bit of time. But this paper here is in the annual catalog that's retiring. We have a new annual catalog coming out in just a month, and so this paper will be gone. I'm not 100% sure if it's one of the papers that are on the sale right now. I'll have to look that up for you. I'll put it in the, I'll write a caption if it's on sale so you know. But it's got some great fall colors, and it has some nice watercolor look. There's a sky and some wood pieces. It's really a great paper pack. I've used it quite a bit. Sorry to see it going. So we've got one more stem, and see how they bend to one way or the other, and you can just turn it upside down so they're not all bending the exact same way unless you want them to. I'll have this one match that one. Same thing with the leaves. So these are the same, but if I flip one over, then the outer edge is different from one to the other, and the points are different. So you can kind of flip one upside down so you get a little bit of variety. I'm going to stick one more there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and stick down my tulips. Now these I kind of want to stand up a little bit, so I'm going to put those on dimensionals. And I like it that it's high, it's going past that little outline, that border. It's blooming right off the page. Go lower on that one, so you don't have to go all the way up to the stem. I'm going to cover up most of that stem and kind of have it be a little lower. There we go. So there are my flowers. Now another thing to embellish, I'm going to use these cute little brushed brass butterflies. Gotta say that one slowly. And these are really pretty. These are in the Spring Mini catalog, and they are going to be in the next annual as well. So I'm going to throw a couple of those down. Let's put maybe one up there. This one's going to maybe be in between here. Oh, I'm going to put down my sentiment too, so maybe I'll leave the last one for that. Okay, so my sentiment, I wanted to do some vellum, and this is just to kind of put behind the vellum, because vellum is kind of a clear, and by putting something behind, it kind of helps the person be able to read it, because you've got too much going on behind if I was to try to put words right on that. So I'm going to layer it with some of the Blackberry Bliss. Is it? I keep saying it's Blackberry Bliss, but I think it's Rich Raspberry. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to stamp our sentiment. onto vellum. So for that you need a Versamark pad. If you're not familiar, and probably most of you are, I know, but I've had a new stamper come into my sphere recently who's never heard of vellum or had never heard of Versamark pad. So it's just a sticky clear pad, and you're gonna ink it up, and it's used to hold down lots of things, but we're gonna use it to hold down embossing powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp it. Now this is a photopolymer stamp. You don't want to squish or it's gonna squish your words, so try not to squish. Just press lightly and lift up, and then we're gonna sprinkle it with our embossing powder. And I usually grab a little scrap of something from my wash on my wastebasket, but my kids just emptied it, so I'm gonna use this extra card front. You just wanna make sure you've got it full coverage before you go ahead and move on. I think I did. And I like to give it a little flick just to get any extra little embossed pieces off, especially when you're using small words, because if there's too much powder on there, you know, as it melts, you can lose some of the insides of your O's, or, you know, letters are so close together. Alright, so let's heat that up. I think I'll put this underneath so you can watch it heat up. Always so pretty to use embossing on your sentiments, I think. Okay, so there is my sentiment, and I wanted to cut this out with, you can use a round punch. I happen to have some layering circle dies, and I forget which one I used, so let's see if we can find it. Is it this one? No, that's too small. And they're all in here willy-nilly. Okay, I had to go with a punch because I couldn't find the right size circle. I don't know what I did with it. It's under these papers somewhere. So as soon as I clean up, I will find it. So I used my punch. Now, a lot of people don't like the way that adhesive looks through the vellum, and I understand that. So what I like to do is I like to try to put adhesive behind a layer where there's a lot of the powder, so you won't see it. So I like to grab maybe a glue dot, and then I'm going to put it somewhere where there's a lot of powder, so like behind an A. And not that it's bad to see adhesive, it's really not, and you can barely see it, and I think sometimes we see it because we know it's there and we put it there, and so it maybe bugs us more than it would bug somebody else. Anyway, now what I wanted was for the rich raspberry layer to be larger than but because I used a punch, I have the wrong size die. They're the exact same size. So here's my sample. See how there's like a rim of the other color? That's what I intended, and I just don't know what I did with that die. And I assure you I'll find it the second I finish filming and get this uploaded. Then it'll be like, oh, there it is. Okay, so that's going to go right here. And we need a little dimensional for that. And I'm only going to put them on the one side because it's going to hang over here. so. Here, I do want another butterfly. Oh, now I've got a cat. Alright, I'm sorry for my distractions. Everybody's on spring break, and we've got cookies in the oven. My daughter and I are trying out macarons. I don't know how to say it. We're trying out those little cookies with the layers and the little filling in the middle. Really fun, kind of like a meringue cookie. Anyway, we're trying those out, and so those are baking. Distraction on distraction. Okay, so here is my card, and then on the inside, a little piece of basic white. And then I like to, and you've probably seen me do this before if you've seen my videos, I like to use a little scrap of paper. If you know how you're cutting your cards and you have little scraps, little thin skinny strips left over, I like to use those on the insides of my cards just to kind of add some more. Or you can stamp on the inside. Sometimes I do that too, but I love using these scraps. So I think I saw, yeah, here we go, in the pack, and it's those purple flowers. Now it's not the right size, so let me see if I have another one. Okay, I think this one's too long, but we can cut it. Actually, the tulips are kind of going the wrong way, so maybe I'll flip it and I'll use it right there. Alright, so I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches. It's a good way to use up your scraps. And then I don't feel so bad throwing away little tiny strips. And there you go. There is my flowering tulips swap card. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll come back again. Bye.